Hello everyone, welcome to Joe Consume Cinema. I'm your host, Manhunter, and today we have a first-time movie reaction to the 1986 film Manhunter. So this is very interesting. I have never seen this film before, and yet I know everything about it. Why is that? Because I've seen the movie The Red Dragon. So The Red Dragon is a book, and it's the basis for this movie, and The Red Dragon, the film, is a remake of this movie. So this is going to be interesting. I've never seen this movie specifically, but I know the overall story and the overall characters. So it's going to be interesting, comparing this movie to The Red Dragon and, which one I like better. I started off, watching this universe like everybody else watching Silence of the Lambs. Most of the movies in that universe are terrible, but The Red Dragon is a very good film, and it's like the only other good film in that universe as far as I'm concerned, unless they make something new. So far, it's just Silence of the Lambs and The Red Dragon that are actually viewable. So it's going to be interesting comparing because I know you've got in The Red Dragon you had Edward Norton who played the detective, Ralph Fiennes played the killer, and Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. In this movie, I believe it's Brian Cox who plays Hannibal Lecter, and I don't know the other actors in it. Recognizable faces, I just don't know their names offhand. So it's going to be interesting comparing this, but we're going to give it a shot. I've heard of this film for a long time. I just never actually gotten around to watching it because, like I said, I saw The Red Dragon, so it's kind of like, well, I already know the story, so is there really a point to this? But I think there is. Different actors have their different takes, also different directors, so we'll compare. Um, Either way, even if it's close, it's still going to be a good movie because I remember enjoying that film, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, so yeah, we're going to give this one a shot. But as always, remember to blank, blank, and blank. Ton of traction for the channel. I think we're like at 140 subscribers as of me making this video, which is awesome. So yeah, just more of that, please. Any help you can give me is always much appreciated. With that, let's get right to the movie. This has got to be from Dollar Hyde's perspective. This is probably the first killing. Sneaking into the house.
Did you ever think about giving me a call?
No,
Why not?
I quit, remember?
He's trying to recruit him to catch the new serial killer.
You look all right now.
Graham caught Lecter.
This guy's on a lunar cycle. I have 3 weeks and a few days until the next full moon.
I think you've already decided and you're not really asking.
Yeah, he wants to do it. Also, he's obviously deluding himself. There is no I'll get in, but I'll keep it at a distance. It's either all the way in or all the way out. I'm gonna take a look at the crime scene. I remember from The Red Dragon, Graham had an uncanny ability to get inside the head of the killer, see things how they saw them. Jesus.
Intruder entered through kitchen sliding door, used a glass cutter anchored to a suction cup. His entry was skillful. All the prints are smooth gloves. Blonde hair, strong, size 12 shoe imprint. Blood AB positive, type from saliva on glass from licking the suction cup. Why didn't he care that he left saliva on the glass? Even with his throat cut, Leeds tried to fight because the intruder was moving to the children's room. Bloodstains on west wall of master bedroom and matted sliding marks on hall carpet remain unexplained.
Not an easy job. He's realized something.
The talcum powder came out of her rubber glove as you pulled it off to touch her. You took off your gloves to touch her, didn't you? Jack, this is Graham. Dust Mrs. Leeds' finger and toenails and the corneas of all their eyes. I think he took off his gloves, Jack.
The Smithsonian in Washington reconstructed these from the impressions that we took of the bat marks on the Leeds woman here and the Jacoby woman in Birmingham.
I've always been impressed with the amount of science that goes into an investigation.
What about the dog?
It's at the vets. The kids brought it down with a puncture wound in the abdomen.
Jacoby's in Birmingham had a cat, didn't he?
That's right.
Yeah, killer has to take out the pets because they're like an early warning system. I remember that from The Red Dragon.
I got a partial
First big break in the case. Got a usable print. Also, that one actor was from The Thing, the John Carpenter one.
What do you hear? What do you say? You remember me?
Oh, scumbag reporter.
Did the paperback. How's he doing? How's he doing, Will?
Shit.
Keep the fuck away from me.
Will.
Yeah, I remember after Will got stabbed.
Some bitch snuck into the hospital. I was sedated after Lecter. He pulled back the sheets and he took pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think I'll go see Lecter tomorrow.
Why?
Recover the mindset.
That was fast. In the Red Dragon, he had to be talked into doing this. Here he just does it. Okay, let's see how this measures up to Anthony Hopkins.
That's the same atrocious aftershave you wore in court 3 years ago.
I keep getting it for Christmas. I want you to help me, Dr. Lecter.
I thought so.
It's about Atlanta and Birmingham.
Yes?
You read about it?
In the papers. You want to know how he's choosing them, don't you?
I thought you might have some ideas.
Why should I tell you?
You get to see the file on this case. And there's another reason.
Pray tell.
I thought you might be curious to see if you're smarter than the person I'm looking for.
Then by implication, you think you're smarter than me since you caught me.
I know that I'm not smarter than you.
Then how did you catch me, Will?
You had disadvantages.
What disadvantages?
You're insane.
Don't think you can persuade me with appeals to my intellectual vanity.
I don't think I'll persuade you at all. You'll either do it or you won't. Besides, we have Dr. Bloom working on it, and he's the best.
Do you have the file with you?
Yes.
Pictures?
Yes.
Let me have them and I might consider it.
No.
Dream much, Will.
Goodbye, Dr. Lecter.
You haven't threatened to take away my books yet. This is a very shy boy, Will. What were the yards like?
Big backyards. Fences, hedges. What?
Because, my dear Will, if this pilgrim imagines he has a relationship with the moon, he might go outside to look at it. Have you ever seen blood in the moonlight, Will? It appears quite black. If one were nude, it would be better to have privacy for this sort of thing. Do you know how you caught me, Will?
Goodbye, Dr. Lecter. You can leave messages for me at the number on
You
the
know
file.
how you caught me? The reason you caught me, Will, is you're just alike. You want the scent? Smell yourself.
Interesting. So it wasn't bad, just different, honestly. I did like how he reacted to that line from Lecter here more than in the Red Dragon. I like the scene where he ran away from it, just trying to create some distance between that truth and himself.
Gotcha.
Operator, I don't have the use of my arms. Would you be so kind as to dial a number for me, please?
Certainly.
Maybe you can help me. This is Bob Greer of Blaine and Edwards Publishing Company. Dr. Bloom asked me to send a copy of The Psychiatrist and the Law to someone. Martha never sent me the address and phone number. I'd be immensely appreciative if you could pull it out of a Rolodex for me. The name we're looking for, last name Graham. The man the book is supposed to be sent to, a Mr. Will Graham.
3680 DeSoto Highway, Captiva, Florida.
Thank you so very much.
Disturbing how easy it is to get information. He'd have the perfect vantage point to observe them. This is where he carves the mark. Yep.
I have a note, or two pieces of a note, that appears to be from that man who killed those people in Atlanta.
Dr. Chilton, where did you get it?
In Hannibal Lecter's cell. My dear Dr. Lecter, I wanted to tell you I'm delighted that you've taken an interest in me. I know that you alone can understand what I am becoming. You alone know the people I use to help me in these things are only elements undergoing change. The Tooth Fairy. What could be more inappropriate? Investigator Graham interests me Very purposeful looking. I hope we can correspond. Mr. Graham, there's a piece missing here. Now I'll read the bottom part. After I hear back from you, I might send you something wet. Signed, Avid Fan. It has teeth marks pressed into it at the bottom.
Sir, order a chopper, next thing smoking, I don't care whose it is. 2, call Alabama Air National Guard and tell them to get Graham back here right now. Then call documents, tell them to scramble a team. I want everybody moving 5 minutes ago. You understand?
I have a documents team on its way to you by helicopter to pick up the note.
Listen, after we've worked the note, I want to replace it in Lecter's cell. I don't want Lecter to know that we found it. He might try to warn the killer somehow.
Gotta move fast. I like the actor that plays the detective in charge of the investigation. Forget his name, but he's solid. He's been in a lot of movies too.
I can't get a print off this in the time you've got to get it back, Will.
How long do I have?
20 minutes max.
Main thing to find out is how was Lecter supposed to reply to him? Which is probably the missing section. Because at the top it says, I hope we can correspond.
Again, I just like the amount of science that goes into the investigation. It's so cool.
You're so sly. So am I.
This looks like the tip of a T. Here, here, and here.
At the end is what could be the top of an R.
There's 3 T's in it.
Tatler. Yeah.
My boy reads it. The article about me and Lecter. I don't know anybody else that's carried that. Personal ads.
We have cut into a line of communication between the Tooth Fairy and Lecter. If we find Lecter's reply, we plan to pull it, substitute it with one of our own. Lecter's ad runs as is. We decode it later, or we pull it, figure out the code, and run our own ad next week.
And lose a week? We got 17 days till the next
And I don't like Lecter's ad running without knowing what it says. It's your call, Will.
Run it. He's molested all of his male victims. He may be impotent with members of the opposite sex. Our forensic psychologists have projected, though I'm not sure, that he may have had sexual relations with his mother. I'd shoot it.
Using this fool as bait.
The same character appears on a Mahjong piece. It means Red Dragon.
The plan was to use Graham as bait, but he goes after the reporter instead. Very strong.
According to you, I'm a sexual pervert. An animal, you said. You know who I am now?
Yes.
Well, here I am. Mrs. Leeds, do you see?
Yes.
Mrs. Jacoby, do you see?
Yes.
Before me, you are a slug in the sun. You are privy to a great becoming, and you recognize nothing. You are an ant in the afterbirth. It is your nature to do one thing correctly. Tremble. But fear is not what you owe me. No, Lowndes. You and the others. You owe me all.
Well, Graham, you will learn from my own lips how much you have to dread because I was forced to lie. He will be more merciful to me than to you. You will lie awake in fear of what the Red Dragon will do.
Definitely a bit creepier than Ralph Fiennes, but not as intimidating as Ralph Fiennes. And I know that actor. He was in The Last Action Hero. He played the Ripper, another serial killer.
Bastard gave me your home address. It said Graham Home, 3860 DeSoto Highway, Captiva, Florida. Save yourself, kill them all.
Get me a plane.
Put your back against the door, and there's a stool just to your right.
How did you come to Gateway?
Oh, they had to hire the handicap to shape up their employment practices to get this defense contract.
You worked out well.
Yeah, everybody they hired did. You know, if you don't want to talk, that's okay. But I hope you will, because you're very direct, and I like that. And I like what you have to say.
On the way, can I take you somewhere?
Where?
It would be my surprise.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, creepier than Ralph Fiennes, just not as physically intimidating. Maybe a little bit taller, but doesn't seem to have quite the muscle. His painting is cool.
Didn't you really feel so bad because killing him felt so good? And why shouldn't it feel good? It feels good, Will, because God has power. And if one does what God does enough times, one will become as God is.
And I see me desired by you, accepted, and loved in the silver mirrors of your eyes.
That was a cool scene. Disturbing, but cool.
Mr. Dollarhide.
Francis is gone. Francis is gone forever.
Someone took a kid and manufactured a monster. At the same time, as an adult, he's irredeemable. He butchers whole families to pursue trivial fantasies. As an adult, someone should blow the sick fuck out of his socks. There's selection and design in his choices.
Look, admit we struck out this month. The Learjet is standing by. The basic lab stuff is on it. You, Zeller, Jimmy Price, a photographer. Anywhere he hits, we can be there in an hour and 15 minutes. We get the call, we roll. The scene will be fresh, fresher than we've ever had
It's
it.
not over yet.
Oh, for Christ's sake, it's a foregone conclusion. It's 11:30 p.m. The full moon is happening tonight.
That's why the bolt cutter.
What's that?
He used a bolt cutter to trim away the branch when he was watching from the woods. Why didn't he use the bolt cutter on the garage door?
Because a deadbolt was there when they were killed.
Sometime between April 14th and August 1, they changed the lock. But he thought there was a padlock there. From the street, you can't see the glass in the Leeds kitchen door. There's a big high fence there. But he was ready with his glass cutter. So either he was casing far ahead, or...
He's got it.
Okay.
You know that's the Jacoby's cat. You brought a bolt cutter because you thought there was a padlock. Leeds dog doesn't have a collar, but you know it's the Leeds dog, don't you, my man?
He's seen the home tapes.
And you know you need a bolt cutter and every other goddamn thing. You've seen these films.
Will, you're not going to need that. The SWAT team is going to take him down, not us.
Graham is not going to wait. Okay. What the hell? That was incredibly stupid. These gunshots sound terrible. Okay, took some time to gather my thoughts. So that was Manhunter. Overall, good movie. I liked the performances. I do have to say that the Red Dragon is definitively better overall. If you match the characters one to one and the performances in this movie versus the performances in the Red Dragon is overall better. I thought Brian Cox did a good job as Hannibal Lecter, but Anthony Hopkins just does a way better job. And that's not because Brian Cox isn't good. He was good in this film. This was good acting. It's just Anthony Hopkins is just definitively better. I thought that Will Graham, played by Edward Norton, better job, better delivery of lines, and I thought that Ralph Fiennes was a better Francis Dollarhide too than Bob Noonan, I think his name is. But like, it's not that anyone in this film did a bad job. It's just that they did better, and I think they had more to work with. So Up until about the hour and 45-minute mark with this movie, it's the same exact movie as The Red Dragon, except the whole storyline with the blind girlfriend changes in this movie than in the other movie, and I just like the way that's done better. I also hated the ending shootout. I thought it was terrible. I don't know what was off with the sound design on Graham's gun, but it sounded really weird and terrible. I don't know what that was all about, but it kind of took me out of it for a second. I don't get the whole charging through the windows to tackle him rather than just shooting him. You have him dead to rights. Just take the shot. It's over. It's just this unnecessary shootout. If you're gonna do that, have somebody screw up or something. I don't like the way that was done. I thought it was bad. And just I think the Red Dragon just has a better overall conclusion to that movie than this movie does. I remember in the Red Dragon it has, instead of Dollarhide getting caught immediately, you have the police coming for him at his house. He fakes his own death by burning up the body of that guy that he thought was dating his girlfriend, but really wasn't. It's all just in his head. And the girlfriend is convinced that he's dead because she's blind, and she hears a shotgun go off and feels around and feels what is the dead body, and it's not his body, it's somebody else's, and then he comes for Graham at the end of that film, and that's done way better. It's just I understand why there was a remake now, because that ending was bad. The Red Dragon does a better overall job. I'm not trying to take away from the performances here. They were solid. It is a good movie. It has a bad ending. I now understand why there was a remake and there was a need for a remake, because up until that point, like literally the last like 10, 15 minutes or whatever it was, it's the same movie. Like minor changes here and there, but same movie, just different actors. Does a great job, like one-to-one comparison, and then the shootout happens and it goes downhill from there. So yeah, I get why there was a remake done. I think it needed it because honestly, it was excellent up until the ending, and all you needed to do was fix that, and then you're home free. I will say that the actor that played Jack Crawford, I actually prefer in this film than in the Red Dragon, but only by a slight amount. But yeah, like the Red Dragon is the overall better movie going experience. Just better story, makes more sense. I think the actors just do a better job overall. But yeah, I think it was worth watching this for the first time, but having said that, the Red Dragon is the better version of this film and just better overall quality. So watch that instead of this. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So as always, thanks for watching and peace.